Hello and welcome to another Best Junglers episode, this one for patch 13.19, the World's Patch. And with this patch come nerfs to Briar, nerfs to Rek'Sai, buffs to Lee Sin, and obviously as you saw from the video yesterday, huge changes to jungle and the game in general. But one thing always remains, my jungle friends. They can change us once a year, twice a year, 10 times a year. We will always figure it out on this channel and together and ensure everybody can climb. So as always, we will go over the best junglers overall for low MMR, for high MMR, and of course, if you need help implementing any of these champions and information into your game, I have a free jungle improvement resource and a dedicated program where we have jungle video courses, jungle coaching VOD libraries, weekly coaching classes, Q&As, patch note rundowns, private high elo streams, as well as a private jungle Discord. And I know how to make junglers convert from low elo to gold to emerald to diamond to master plus. If you want to climb faster than anybody you know, jungle diff every game you play, head to Virkayu.gg. First up we have the S tier page, which has to be Bel'Veth, abusing and using Stride Breaker, not nerfed for no particular reason, other than I heard through the grapevine they wanted to see her at Worlds, so they didn't nerf her. Which is weird because they absolutely gutted LeBlanc, so I'm a little bit confused about the logic there. Yeah, jungle has a lot of impact, but the champions we see here absolutely dominating games is because they are physically too strong, they have items they can abuse, and they use the systems of the jungle to extend that influence over the map. Bel'Veth is the best at doing that. She can full clear now and relax, doesn't have to be too active, although I do recommend a bit of activity. Snowball, get yourself some Herald and Void Fishies. It resets the damage, the mobility, the ultimate healing, the true damage, and most importantly, even though the ping game has been removed, which is absolutely stupid, see yesterday's video, Bel'Veth is able to split push and ignore any pings that might have come her way and win games on her own. So if you want a true 1v9, this is the champion to go. Next up we have Briar, and as I've been saying with this champion, absolutely overtuned, 200% overtuned. The nerfs that came through here, not enough. We need that W2 heal to go down a bit. We need that E cooldown to go back up 2 seconds. We need the E damage to also be reduced. Overall, her kit is still mighty strong. Stridebreaker, Black Cleaver, into Sterak's builds. We have the Blade of the Rune King, Spirit Visage combination. We have Death Dance, both Mortiers. You have all of the typical fighter items with an obnoxiously strong kit, absolutely unparalleled skirmishing, and yes, her full clear, you think, hey, they nerfed her clear, Virkayu. Now she can't, gank and fight without being punished. Yeah, well, the former Rank 1 Bel'Veth main Demex in the private Virkayu.gg Discord, yeah, he and others in that Discord are spamming Briar up to high elo and in high elo, and guess what? They said the clear speed, it's 315, it's the same, it's fine, we can play. So, the nerfs didn't really do much, they definitely brought her down a peg, but overall, champion is Giga. Just stop throwing your ultimate across the map, guys, use it more intelligently, please. Following this, talking about global ultimates, we have Nocturne, rising the ranks of power as Sauron once did, and obviously his skirmishing with Stridebreaker, Black Cleaver is great, the synergy with Shojin also warped in there. You're looking at a Stridebreaker, Black Cleaver GA, or you can go that Shojin third or second as you wish. I do prefer going at third if you're not exactly going to close and the GA would be a little too early. I like that build a little bit more just for overall skirmishing and scaling. But either way, as long as you don't have, 3 categorically losing lanes that kind of stop you getting 6, you can easily full clear and play accordingly, capitalize on a few ganks, get that ultimate, and then thereafter with Ultimate Hunter, play around the ult, keep playing around the ult. Ensure you're getting those objectives and split pushing appropriately. You can always cut in with that semi-global as well. But most importantly, please ensure that you have picked a lane with which to use that ultimate on repeat. They have no flashes, they're free kills, get yourself really fed, and now you can fight anybody in the game very easily. Next up we have Yarvin IV, who people are stopping playing, except not really. The play rate is definitely down, but it's still high. The win rate for general population is way better than high elo, the damage nerf impacts his clear, impacts his damage, but the champion is still absolutely goated because we still have Gordrigger Shojin builds. Your engage, your mobility, your skirmishing as you get spiked is still not matched by any champion on this list. He has absolutely everything in his kit for team domination, flex queue domination, clash queue domination. I'm pretty sure we will still see him at Worlds just a little bit at least. Next up we have the most broken hidden OP champion in this game, and it's not really a hidden OP, but she's not being played enough for how strong she is. Most of the season that has been Nocturne. I've been putting him in this list saying, guys, play Nocturne. Champion is strong. Now his play rate 7-8%, it's climbing, that's great. Lilia now needs to take that. This champion is so damn easy to carry with, so unskilled in certain aspects with that healing, with that percentage damage, with the outplay ability, with Q flash, W bonk, sweet spot, true damage, auto sweeps, and ultimate sleeper buys. Who knows what I just said, but the champion is strong, powerful, ruthless, and formulaic. You can full clear, you can skirmish well, you've got a powerful mid game and late game. you do have the ability to quickly rinse camps to get a 2-3 level lead as soon as the enemy jungler makes one mistake. You determine your interaction levels, but you're basically pretty much good at everything. And even Bo a few months ago was saying, hey guys, Lilia, top tier player to get to high elo. Nothing's changed since then, except everyone else is building more HP, so she does more damage. You see where we're going with this. Next up, we have Evelynn, and yes, you're thinking, hey, Evelynn, don't you mean Gwen? No, Gwen isn't going to be in this particular section. She has fallen off and people aren't executing it properly, and overall, I think people are realizing there's enough time to actually win the game before she comes online, whereas Evelynn, in this particular case, you can destroy her, you can keep her down, but as soon as she gets 1 or 2 kills like any assassin, it becomes a bit of a nightmare to cope with. The most important thing that you need to realize against Evelynn is when you kill her early, suppress her early, make sure you have other things that you have going for you. Use it to counter jungle, use it to herald, dragon, plates, get gold. So when she does get those kills and the catch-up experience, she won't be able to gap close to you because you will be 2 levels above her and you can still deal with her. If that's the case, her power, which we're talking about here, is very strong in terms of map presence, that will be unholy diminished. But if you do play Evelynn, obviously the goal here is to mitigate those early deaths, play properly, and, avoid what I just said. After Evelynn, we have Kha'Zix. That's because for some reason there's a fun guy in our Discord for many years who keeps typing a Kha'Zix with a K at the end, but he is very strong. Honestly, he's stronger than 7th on the slot. A lot of these can be interchangeable based upon how you physically play the game. The only 2 I would say are exempt to this are Briar and Bel'Veth. I know we can kind of go with the Jarvan as super strong as well, but a lot of Jarvans, they kind of fall here and there and they don't play properly because they were just abusing flavor of the month. Kha'Zix, on the other hand, is not one such champion. You can play him Conqueror, Gore Drinker, Shojin as well, Ravenous Hydra Rush like Agurun is doing at the moment, but the best way to play it is still to abuse the Duskblade. If you need Edge of Night, yes, it's a great item. Pussy Poo is having a bit of a meltdown on Twitter with these item complaints, but it's a great item because if you need to jump on someone who can stun you, Edge of Night prevents that stun and they die, and you can use your R to actually reposition and get another unseen passive hit, and they, die. His early isn't as powerful as all of the others in this video, but he has a serviceable early that allows him to snowball with unparalleled control. You gotta pick your spots, you gotta be better at positioning, you've gotta move in and out. All of the things good assassins like are even stronger on Kha'Zix. Following this, we have Graves, who again, strong. Go lethality, yeah, there's some DPS builds. Not a huge fan of the Trinity Force variety, as I've said before, but the burst procs, a damage snowball, very powerful. I'm just not seeing a lot of people actually play Graves. I think it's because he exists in his own little plane at the moment. A lot of these strong items are running around and people are just abusing that. They're all fighting each other for Godzilla control of the map, and Graves is just taking this here and that there and moving here and snowballing here, split pushing a few kills. Okay, the game's over, and no one, realizes what happened. So he's a bit understated, but very, very powerful. Next up, we go to the A tier page, and we have Fiddlesticks launching a scarecrow over the wall. Hippity hoppity, your soul is once more my property. Nothing has changed with this champion. I just did put a great video on the gameplay channel. Why are there so many one-tricks in Korea using Fiddlesticks? And the amount of item diversity that they in fact have, including a huge use of the Hex Flash tool. Use it, it's great. Don't always need booties, which compromises your early Sulk's rush. You don't have your stopwatch, which kind of just, sits in your inventory for a while. You use it and it's useless. The Hex Flash, though, allows you way more angles for your suckies, for your silences, and for your ults. Next up, we have Echo, who is having a nice resurgence in terms of play rate. I've maintained he's been one of the great ones to main for quite a while because he kind of slips in and out of, the quote-unquote meta, but he's always useful. His damage and profile is such that he doesn't really need to worry about what others are doing in the meta. Just make sure you have some good counter ganks, get a few kills here and there. Once you're fed, it's really, really easy. A simple E, Q with an auto attack, and people die most of the time. And if you hit your W or not, it's not always that relevant. Obviously, you hit your W, yes, but when he's so fed, squishies are just perma-dead, and you can control the game very easily. Now, in terms of easily, Nidalee is not one of those champions, but definitely very, very powerful, potent, and Cougar-like, making sure that enemy junglers, whoever they are suppressed and never reach their real-world fantasies. This is what she does. She has now taken on this Kindred role. This Kindred is diminished a little bit. Well, she was always doing this. It was just her and Kindred together. But now, obviously, with her snowball component and the ability to end by 15-20, again, if you're good at Nidalee and you're good at jungle, you will climb to Master at least. Guaranteed. If you are not doing that and you main Nidalee, either your Nidalee isn't as good as you think or your jungling isn't as good as you think. So figure out which it is, fuse them together, get climbing. Another skill cap champion is Lee Sin because Riot just want to see him at Worlds. The biggest thing about Lee Sin, as most of you will know when you face them, is they do come out of the jungle a little bit lower than others in terms of the actual HP resource. So they've doubled his early lifesteal and spell vamp, which is great for skirmishing but also great for clearing. And they have, of course, and then nerfed the damage from the E-Tempest as it scales up. which is just a bit of compensation there. His base armor was also increased by 2, so he's a little healthier, able to do a bit more early. It's not the biggest buff, but sometimes people need these tiny things to make them believe they can do stuff. But guess what? You could do it before. Now, obviously, you can do other things with all the great items flying around, so you have no more excuse, Lee Sin mains. Your champion's good, it's a 100% skill issue, even though it was, even more so now. Next up is Kayn, and again, they can nerf it all they like, but Blue Kayn will still be the most annoyingly unskilled thing to fly around killing stuff. I agree with you there, but good Kayns as a whole experience, understanding level 1 to 18, blue, red, base form, itemization, moments in and out, those things will always differentiate themselves from your generalistic Kayn main. So let's not assume all of Kayn is just a blue form with 20 kills popping out of a wall and one-tapping you. But the point is, the champion is still good. Following this, I always like to put a little bit of a weird champion on this list, and Diana is that one at the moment. It's not really weird, it's just I think people are sleeping on her damage profile. They're worried about tank builds. Just go damage, full sequence, play it like a Nocturne, play around your ultimate, split push here, get some objectives. Really, she exudes fundamental jungling. If you have a balanced approach and understanding of jungle at a very baseline level, and you can replicate this formula over and over and over again, she will dominate the game and you will climb. And while I hope none of you Shaco mains climb, he is in fact a very good champion at the moment for solo queue. People think he's weak, but he's not. They're lying to you. He's good. And weirdly, I know this because he is the most faced jungler I have had against me this season. 31 games I've faced Shaco. The next highest is Kha'Zix with 19. So I've seen the bad Shakers, I've seen the good Shakers, I've seen the Smurf Shakers, and I've studied the Challenger Shakers for all of the content and all the channels. Champion is not the issue. Your mind is. Fuse it with some crazy, go and win games. And now Talia is on this list because, you know, I could put Viego, but he's just not performing that well. I had a few others I was looking at, but then I just realized, you know what, Talia's got a great win rate, her play rate is low, but she does so well into a lot of these champions. Her disengage is unholy, her snowballing is unholy. Yeah, she has not the same kind of kit that she used to once upon a time, but the champion is very potent in the hands of the skilled. Put in some time, learn to hit your W reliably, understand how that Q1 and Q2 work, and honestly master your clear, get early impact. You can definitely snowball and win games yourself against a lot of the champions above her on this list. Following that, we have the low elo page, Nocturne, Briar, Lilia, Amumu, Jarvan, Diana, Shyvana, and Zac. Yeah, I put the Shyvana back here because she's still good. Her play rate in low elo has gone down, but overall her power in low elo is maintained. Because you don't necessarily go forth and gank too much anyway, and you overly farm in low elo, reducing your impact, why don't you just get high econ, do some counter jungling, get some dragons, and then become interactive later on, and always you have that split push component for low elo, which is huge. This is different to things like Lily and Amumu and Jarvan, who are amazing at team fights, and of course the Nocturne and the Briar, which just have outward stats. They just outstat everybody because they're so damn strong in their own right. And in low elo, you want to just outstat people because you don't always have the team fighting prowess or the mechanical prowess to actually execute things. No offense, it's just as you're learning, so these two kind of cover that up and allow you to dominate regardless. Same thing for the Zac kind of in the Amumu train. Hey, my team keep fighting. I can't always be there with them because I'm trying to do this. Well, just be there with them, be the tank, and win the game with it. And after that, we now have the high elo page. As you can see, Bel'Veth, Nidalee, Kha'Zix reigning supreme in terms of win rate, play rate, fusion. The Jarvan is still good. The Gwen is still good. The Kayn is still good. Their win rates are just not as great in high elo at the moment, largely because of the champions you see on your screen now. They execute a little better. What we have is the Lee Sin doing very well on high elo. Viego doing very well on high elo. Obviously Talia. Karthus is in the best state he's almost ever been in his life. Now, when you see high elo people complain about, hey, Karthus is unskilled, that's not saying he's actually easy. The champion's still difficult to execute. There's still a lot of counterplay there in terms of, team comp and how you jungle. But overall, a good Karthus will destroy most games just as a byproduct of understanding jungling, macro, sequencing, ganking windows, and obviously when to just eviscerate enemy junglers. The ultimate thing of him pressing R at 25 minutes and one-tapping your Soraka, that is a result of being a good Karthus player and a good jungler. And finally, obviously, Graves is great. I mean, I could have put Rengar here. He's doing okay in high elo, but still, right? Not exactly how he was. And I didn't really feel like Gwen stood out enough for me because even though she is very strong, no one's really overly strong on that champion in terms of data. But overall, these are the highest played champions with the best win rate data succeeding on patch 13.19. And to understand more about the raw fundamental of what allows a jungler to get better and climb, click the video in your box on your screen now.